You arrive here in Copenhagen with a new lineup and haven't played in over a month. How excited are you into going into this one?
I mean, I'm excited that we get to play our first CS2 tournament with a five-man lineup that we practiced with, and overall are as a team, and we know what we're headed into because in Sydney we played, but obviously due to the circumstances we needed to play with a stand-in, which was our coach, and obviously it wasn't the perfect situation for us, so looking forward.
You mentioned that there wasn't this perfect situation, but when did you find out that s1mple wanted to take a break?
I found it out in Sydney, actually, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. So then the community knew, and everything happened after.
He is your star player. So how did you react when you heard that s1mple wouldn't be available going forward?
I mean, first of all, it came out of the blue, kind of, this whole situation, and after that, I'm it's not my first rodeo in something similar, and you just need to, honestly, you can't look back. You need to just start looking forward and just start the process with someone else. And if you're dwell into all the thinking about what if and what not, like, I don't think that helps you at all. So just looking forward.
What does it change for you and the team not having s1mple on the roster?
Obviously experience. I think that's what he brings the most, and in really tight situations he shines, and I think that's what the whole community knew, like when there is a clutch and s1mple is alive, or 2-on-2, 2-on-3, whatever the situation is, he could turn it around. So I think definitely that, and we are a young team now with an 18-year-old and less experience, but at the same time we're trying to trust each other to the maximum and bring it home.
It's said that he's taking a break, but what is the long-term plan for this roster?
I have no clue about the break. We haven't thought about, oh, we're just going to play this tournament and that tournament and then look back to the situation. As far as I know now, we're just continuing to move forward like nothing ever happened, and this is the new core, and maybe there's going to be a day when we think about something, or maybe there's not. To me, it's just this moment right now, and just going through the year and starting the next year.
So it's a possibility he will be back on the roster?
There might be a possibility, but as I said, we've not talked about that. I have not talked about that at all. For all I know is he's on a break, and could be 2 years, who knows.
Enough about s1mple, because you have a new guy on board in Wonderful. Can you put some words on him and the transfer?
So I think Wonderful fits the team really well. He's Ukrainian, and so is Navi, and I think he fits in personality-wise. I think we mesh together really well. I get along with him really well. He has some experience, like being in a semi-final of a major, but not too much. And I think he's gonna, with these tournaments we have left in this year, if we're gonna make it to a playoffs, hopefully he'll gain some valuable experience, and so do we. I mean, we still need experience as a team overall. And yeah, I just think that he's a nice guy. He's really polite. He's eager to work. He's putting in the hours, and he's showing the skill on the server. And I just hope we can replicate it on officials.
He's set to fill some massive shoes, replacing the best player in the world. Can he handle that pressure, do you think?
I think if you put any player in that situation, except like if I'm thinking about Opers, there are only, I think, Sivu and Device who can match some of the experience or some of the like being a star of that level. Anyone would have some kind of pressure for sure, replacing s1mple, but I just think that the way he handles it, he wants to show himself. He wants to make his country proud, and as a player, I think he can do it.
What are you and the team doing for him to have a soft landing?
Honestly, just like I'm trying to make sure myself I'm spending time with him one-on-one and just speaking to him about different things, because I feel like he has these shoes to fill, and if no one is there to like support him or to answer if he has any type of questions, I think he's gonna be left in the dark kind of without any answers, and that might pressure him even more. So I'm just trying to be there for him if he needs anyone, and yeah, honestly just trying to make sure that us as a team, we five get along well, because I think that's really valuable.
Talking a bit about you personally, because you mentioned yourself it's not your first rodeo with things happening like this in OG, G2 and NIP before. But do you believe you have found a safe haven here in Navi?
I think the dynamic between me and the coach is definitely better than in some of the teams I've been in. I think that's a valuable aspect. Second thing is I've learned from some of my lessons, and to some things I couldn't have done anything differently. But at the end of the day, I'm always trying to live in the moment, and I'm trying to make the best happen in the situation I'm in, and right now it's Navi, and it's the situation I'm in right now, and if I'm thinking too much about the past, it's been a roller coaster, right? So I try not to think about it too much and just try to move forwards.
What is it that it works so well between you and Blade?
I think just the fact that we've accepted like how it is to work with each other, and I've accepted the way he approaches. He has a lot of things to say and whatnot. Trying to focus on my game, trying to focus on remembering all the details and executing it on the server. And just honestly, sometimes it's you could match with someone on personal level, but when you're doing your job you might not, and I feel like we match together, and we both know that we need to give some room for each other, and that's it.
I assume there has been a lot of talk between you and Blade about Counter-Strike 2, but how are you liking it so far, Counter-Strike 2?
Honestly, it's getting better and better. When I was in Sydney, I think the game already had a bunch of major updates, and it's been better ever since. I do think that there are still stuff to be fixed, or stuff to get used to rather. But they're shaping up the game to be better and better, and as I've said before on the interviews, I just hope that when the first major appears, that the game is going to be in a state where everybody feels motivated, like even the community feels like they want to play the game because maybe there's an operation out or some new content, and I think that's what all CS players are waiting for, a massive update to hit and all the fixes that needs to be fixed getting out of the way, and then we can enjoy the CS in a way that we all hope.
With the history of Valve handling these kind of situations, are you confident then that this will be fixed to the first major?
I think I've heard some feedback by some players, and hearing that Valve has answered them, and them saying that they're trying to work their best, and honestly they've been updating the game pretty constant right now. So there might be some things that they cannot fix because of how the game's coded or whatever, so we might not be able to switch our weapon from right hand to left hand ever again, or maybe we will. But we just hope that the game gets the update that it really requires when it's like precise jumping, gunplay, all these things that actually matter the most. And then I think when it comes to updates after that, it might be opinion based, but I feel like everybody wants the game to be perfect in what it needs to be perfect in, which is a shooter game, and everything you do should match the inputs. And I just feel like we're getting there, and that's what they're really trying to do. And I hope after, like when we go to the next year, the game's gonna be in a really good state.
We have talked a bit about the negativities around Counter-Strike 2 and things that has to be fixed, but can you mention a specific thing you enjoy in Counter-Strike 2?
Honestly, the utility, just the overall like feeling of visuals. I think you start to appreciate it more the more you play, and the utility is so much different when it comes to smokes. The smokes have a small delay before they bloom. The grenades affecting the smokes and all this kind of stuff. But the more you play, the more you get used to it, the more you are ready for things to happen. And honestly, it's refreshing. So I do like it in a certain way that something new is happening and you're learning something new and it keeps you aware of everything. And yeah, the visuals, I feel like everything looks amazing if you compare things like that, and they have added a lot of details on different kind of maps, and I think they're gonna update some of the maps that didn't get a massive update in the future, and I think it's gonna be nice for the spectators as well to see the game in better lighting and everything.